Hello, so it's time for back to school, and whether you're excited or stressed out, or maybe you're just excited for back to school shopping and not actually the going back to school part, I have some tips for people about how to be a better student. A lot of people get overwhelmed right before a school year starts, I've noticed, and try and prepare for stuff because a lot of people get kind of cocky at the end of the year and they'll sign up for advanced courses that they've never taken before or don't even know if they can take or not. But I think that's a good thing. And I want to give some tips to those people and then also just people who maybe you're a straight C student, you want to do better, or maybe you're a straight A student, you just want to learn how to manage your time better. So, a little bit of context as to why you should even trust me when I'm talking about this. I am an incoming senior in high school, class of 2025, and if you can name it, I've done it. Student athlete, and I'm a 4.0 unweighted student, 4.3 weighted. I've taken honors classes, AP classes, college classes. I'm a part-time Running Start student. I have two jobs. I go to two schools and I did two sports last year. And I usually have the one year-round sport, and then one is just a seasonal sport. But two sports nonetheless. I get the mental health side of it. High school can be tough. And I, of course, also get the time aspect of it as someone who's very busy. So let's get into some reasons as to why you might not be succeeding as best as you can. You think natural smarts is what makes you a good student. It's just not true. It's not. I'm not naturally smart, okay? And it might seem like I am because of how much I do, but I guarantee you I am not. And I know that because I am naturally smart at one subject, and that's English. I am not naturally smart at anything else. And even English, I've still had classes that I struggled in. I don't think if you're not struggling in a class and overcome a barrier, then you're not learning. The whole point of school is to struggle and overcome it. So if you've just taken classes and gotten A's easy up until now, then you're not taking hard enough classes. Every single year when I set up my curriculum, I always have to think to myself, how am I going to manage all this? Because if I'm not thinking that, then it means that I'm not living enough, in my opinion. I've never been naturally smart, and I struggled a lot my first year of high school. And I had never had grades before until high school. So I totally get the fear of taking a new curriculum or a new class that you've never taken before, that you don't know what grade you're going to get on it. Because going into 2021, my freshman year, I had never been at a school with grades. So I had no way of knowing if I was smart or not. And I had to ask for help a lot, which is very hard for me to do because I'm a very independent person. I had to ask for help a lot. I had to work through a lot of things that I didn't want to work through. But I think that that should be a standard expectation when you go to school, is that you are not supposed to be naturally smart, and that is not going to get you anywhere in life. If things are just handed to you, how are you going to work to do anything that you want to do outside of school? If you just want to be naturally smart and you're going to be jealous of the people you think are naturally smart, think about how much they're going to struggle later on in life because everything came easy to them when they were younger. You don't plan, you just expect yourself to be able to do everything last minute and you procrastinate. I have met people that genuinely think that working on things last minute makes them do better. I once had somebody tell me in my animation course that they thought that because they saved what they were doing until last minute, because they thought that working on a project when it starts prolongs their suffering until it's done. And I said, have you ever started a project the day it was assigned? And they were like, no. Okay, so then you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Because then their opinion of, oh, well, it prolongs my suffering if I have to work on it when it's assigned. No, it just means that you don't have to suffer at all because you actually know what's going on until it's due. So, my rule for myself is always start things as soon as they're assigned. And you need to actually have a plan about how you're going to get it done. You can't just expect yourself to figure it out on the last day before it's due. That's one, terrible for your mental health, and two, will set you up for horrible things in your future because you won't know how to plan. And what are you going to do if you can't meet a deadline then? You think learning is one size fits all. You think because this person seems like they're doing everything right, I should be able to do the exact same thing. The study guide that your teacher gives you isn't always the study guide that's going to help you the most. The whole point of a teacher teaching a curriculum is that the curriculum is what works best for the majority of kids. If you are not a majority of kids, or Like, everyone's learning is different. If you just have the smallest thing that's a little bit different, you're going to have to tweak that curriculum just a little bit more so that it works for you. So, if you think about studying in that way, of course, learning isn't one size fits all. Every single person has different knowledge than everyone else. Even though it might seem like we don't because we're all in the same class, everyone has different experiences, and it's important that you find out your form of learning so that you can better learn for yourself. Not to sound toxic or anything, but I love getting better grades than everyone else. And I've sort of made it into a competition with other people that I know. Not that you should compare your learning to anyone else or anything, so you can take it with a grain of salt, but I absolutely love picking someone who seems like they're naturally smart and like being better than them. Maybe that's bad. I don't care really, because I would rather be toxic and have good grades than have bad grades and not care. You suck at managing time. I have never understood is how people who don't have any hobbies, any extracurriculars, still have bad grades. Like, you're broke, you don't have interests, and you're a bad student? Like, what do you mean? In my mind, like, having time does not exist. You make time. Like, if something is important, you make time for it. It doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter who you are. If you want to do something, you make time for it. You don't have time, because if you have time, you'll just take what you need to do, school, you'll take a longer amount of time to do it because in your mind you have so much time. I have so much time to do this. Yes, you never do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like that whole deadline thing I was talking about earlier. When you have like 2 weeks to do something and you wait until the last day because you had so much time, well, you didn't use that so much time efficiently because you used 1 day of that time. And what did you do for the rest of the 2 weeks? Overthink how you were gonna waste time? Like, I seem mad right now because it's actually like my pet peeve when people claim they don't have enough time to do something. Yes, you do. You just don't want to make time for it. Let's talk about mindset shifts. You're going to need to change how you think about certain things in order to correct your mistakes. If you think that other students are better than you, just remind yourself that you don't have any idea what they do. They might have a terrible social life with terrible friends. They might secretly hate everyone they know. And they might also not even be a good student. They might cheat their way through every test. You have literally no idea. So stop comparing yourself to other people like that. Now, what I was talking about before, making a competition with somebody else, that is not to be taken so seriously. Don't think too deeply about it. Just think to yourself, I'm sitting at home right now. If they're the perfect student that I want to be, would they be working right now? Probably. So I'm going to actually stop procrastinating and do my homework. That's what I mean when I say that. I don't mean overthink every single smart person that you know because you think they're better than you, because they're not. They're just not. Like, they're not that much better than you anyway for having good grades. Like, you can literally get the same good grades as them, and you have literally no idea what other people are going through, what other people think, what other people are even doing. You don't even know what they're doing. So don't compare yourself to another smart person. Just don't. But they literally told me that they didn't even study and they got a 98. Yes, they did. They did study. They either studied or they cheated, okay? I want you to think that every single time someone tells you that. Guarantee 1 out of 10 times when someone tells you, I didn't even study, they're lying. They're just lying, okay? You know why I know? Because I've lied about that before. I have. I've told people, and most of the time it's to make myself feel better because I showed someone my grade and I studied really hard for it and I got a 94 and they got a 97. So I go, oh yeah, well, I didn't even study for it. And then say that person worked just a little bit harder than me and they got just a little bit of a higher score, 94 to 97. And they think, oh wow, she didn't even need to study and she did that and I worked so hard to get this grade. It's because I lied about it because I felt bad that I got a less score. Okay, so just know that if someone tells you, I didn't study, yes, they did. Yes, they did. They're literally just trying to make you feel bad or make themselves feel better. 90% of the time that someone tells you that, they did study. Every single time you hear it, just think to yourself, yes, they did. They're just lying to me so that they feel better about themselves, which is pathetic, and I don't do that anymore, but I used to. Procrastination doesn't make you better or motivate you. You're just lazy. I was already talking about how People I know would literally just wait until the last day because they thought it made them work faster. It doesn't make you work faster. You're just stressed out for no reason when you could have been working on it the whole time and actually finish something you're proud of. Because imagine this is a project you actually care about, but you're so used to procrastinating, you procrastinate on it until the last day, and then you submit some subpar work because you didn't want to work on it. Why would you do that to yourself for any reason? It doesn't make you better than anyone. It doesn't mean that you're an efficient worker. It just means that you're too lazy to plan ahead. Study smarter, not harder. Your goal when you're studying for a test should never be study for 4 hours every day until the test comes. Study what? What's your plan? Your study guide should never look like, oh, I want to study for XYZ hours like every single day, because not only will that one make you underprepared, and it's such a blanket goal that you're probably just gonna fuck around for those 4 hours that you told yourself you're gonna study, because just saying an amount of time you want to study for will literally mean that you go to the library and sit around for 4 hours. You might passively study, but it's not going to be as effective as if you actually made a real plan. A real plan could look like, okay, here's the study guide that my teacher gave me. These are all the topics. I am going to try to get through 2 topics a day until the test comes. That way, you're not cramming the night before the test, and you're actually looking at every topic. You're not just going through it. Before you should study for a test, you should look at the list of topics, think about which topics you understand and which ones you don't. That way, you can review the topics you don't understand the most, and just passively, the way that you would have been passively studying for 4 hours every day, you can just passively review the stuff that you don't know as well. If it's difficult, that means you need to study it. You can't just hope that you're going to know it when the test comes. You can make time. You can make time for it, I promise. As someone who has 2 jobs, 2 schools, 2 sports, and still makes time for everything, has never gotten below an A. I've never even gotten an A minus. You can make time for it. You just have to be smart and plan things ahead of time. Now I'm just going to talk about some easy things that you can practice that'll actually implement those mindset shifts for you. Planners, planners, planners. Literally so important. I am not joking or over exaggerating when I say that I use 3 planners every day, okay? And it's in a very efficient and organized way so that I don't get overwhelmed or stressed out or miss something on accident. My laptop. My laptop is where I keep my Notion page. So I actually have like 2 things on my laptop that I use for planning. I have a Notion calendar, which I can access in my phone and on my laptop, that has things like my shifts for work, what nights I'm cheering. Then we have my smaller planner. This one is just for blanket statement stuff. I'll put the things I'm doing for the day, but I won't put times so that I just know in my head, okay, I'm doing this, this, and this. So I have less time to do this, this, and this. This will be used for like if someone says a to-do date in my class, I always have this book on me so that I can just jot it down really quick. That way, I'm organized and I'm not forgetting to write stuff down, because my digital stuff is great, but you can't always pull that out when you're in class. If you're in a high school class, my college teachers don't care. But if you're in a high school class, it's important to be able to write things down and not just know them in your head. Lastly, we have my habit tracker and my bullet journal. So, my bullet journal I specifically use for more like personal stuff. So, I will like write down my habits, my goals, my like overarching stuff. So, this is like a month to month, week to week type thing that I look at. This is an everyday in detail way that I will look at my day and how I study and how we'll get stuff done. And this is my overall, like, this is what is going on that I look at every day. I know it's a lot, but once you get used to your system and you find a system that works for you, you can use it for the rest of your life. Figure out how to work smarter, not harder. Make sure that you figure out how you learn. You can be a hands-on learner, you can be an auditory learner, you can be a visual learner. There are so many types of learners, and you can just take like a quick online quiz to find it out too. It's not that hard to figure out. And once you know that, you can listen to different things, you can look at different things that'll help you out, and you can utilize every single resource that you're given because now you know how you learn. Find proper motivation. Don't just save random ass photos of Rory Gilmore, okay? You need to actually have a reason why you want to do this. Like, as great as wanting to be better than everyone else is, you will find roadblocks. And when you do, you need to have something to fall back on. When you are tired and you're burnt out, you need to remind yourself why you're focusing on what you're focusing on, whether it's for the joy of your future career or maybe you just want hella money. I'm not going to say that's a bad reason. That's a pretty good reason. There are so many reasons that you can find for motivation. I personally, I do all the cute little stuff too, okay? I have a monthly vision board that I do. I have like little goals I write down every day. Like I have those goals for me, but also like find what motivates you. Maybe it's that if I have perfect grades this entire quarter, I can buy myself something from this shop that I really want to buy. It's as simple as that. I do that all the time actually, and it one stops me from overspending, and two ensures that I keep my good grades up. So, yeah, it's important to find the things that actually make you happy to encourage you to keep going when you're unhappy and unmotivated and feel like you literally can't jam another bit of information in your brain. I hope you guys enjoy your school year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a good day. All right, bye.